Search and rescue teams in Japan are working around the clock in a desperate hunt for survivors of Friday's earthquake and tsunami. But as each hour passes, the chances of finding people alive diminishes. This afternoon, authorities announced they had discovered thousands of bodies on the coast of the Miyagi Prefecture. Officially, the death toll stands at just over 1,500, but many now expect that to rise to more than 10,000. The government is also struggling to cope with hundreds of thousands of people left homeless by the disaster. ABC correspondent Shane McLeod reports from Sendai.
The discovery this afternoon of 2,000 dead bodies along the shores of Miyagi Prefecture is just another grim reminder of the nature and scale of the task facing emergency workers. Thousands dead and tens of thousands still unaccounted for. This is all that's left of the town of Minami Sanriku. 10,000 people are still missing here after the tsunami flattened everything in its path for kilometres inland. The survivors tell their stories.
I watched everything. The wave came in and I saw it hit the concrete breakwater. It was just flicked aside and the water rushed inland. The houses were washed away.
Cars were simply washed away. Not even buildings were able to withstand the force. This is where Australia's urban search and rescue team is headed. Trucks will get them and their equipment within 20 kilometres, cars to 5 kilometres, and from there they'll have to travel by foot. There's virtually no fuel or bottled water, and the weather is bleak. The temperature is expected to be between 7 and -4 degrees, with a 50% chance of snow. It's a situation repeated again and again along hundreds of kilometres of coast. Sendai is the city nearest the quake's epicentre. It bore the brunt of the tsunami. Once again, in some parts, there's little left. This woman was horse riding when the quake struck. She immediately jumped in her car and drove, escaping the tsunami. Now she's back and confused because there are no landmarks left for her to orientate herself.
Words fail me because there's nothing here. The things that are supposed to be here, everything is gone.
But thousands of others who tried to escape the wall of water were not so lucky. Here, rescue workers retrieved the body of a person who drowned in their car. And this new footage shows just what they were up against. A massive black wave travelling at 60 kilometres an hour smashes over the seawall in Miyako. People could only watch as the water picked up cars and swept boats away. Elsewhere, the aftermath revealed the tsunami's power. This bus was washed onto the top of a 3-storey building, and a house was left stranded on the roof of this school. Japan's Prime Minister Naoto Kan has said the country is facing its worst post-war crisis.
With the earthquake, the tsunami and the current situation in the power plant in Fukushima, in the 65 years since the end of World War II, this is the toughest, most difficult crisis for Japan.
Amongst the devastation, there are occasional positive moments for rescuers. People standing on a roof spot some movement in a car caught in the mud and rubble. After alerting rescuers, 3 elderly people are pulled out of the car where they'd been trapped for 20 hours without food or water. But the most unlikely rescue was Hiromitsu Shinkawa's. He was spotted 15 kilometres out to sea, still sitting on the remains of his roof, all that was left of his house after it was washed out to sea. His wife, though, didn't make it. She was pulled from his grasp and swept away. Apart from the search for survivors and the recovery of bodies, authorities are also having to deal with hundreds of thousands of displaced people. Sports halls have been converted to makeshift shelters, but food and water is in short supply and it's hard to get it to those who need it most. The disaster also threatens to further undermine Japan's already fragile economy. The clean-up and repair bill is expected to run to the tens of billions of dollars. The Bank of Japan injected a massive $85 billion into money markets to encourage banks to keep lending and stabilise jittery financial markets. There have been regular aftershocks since Friday's quake, and this afternoon there was another registering 6.2. This time the aftershock came with an official tsunami warning, sending rescue workers and survivors scurrying to reach higher ground. The tsunami itself didn't eventuate, but the whole country is understandably nervous. And now there's a 70% chance of a 7 magnitude quake in the next 3 days. Shane McLeod, Late Line.